Hey everybody, this is Lorelia, and today I want to do a follow-up from a video that I did a few days ago, and I talked about why it's actually illegal to pay a debt collector. And a lot of people don't know that there are, federal laws that protect consumers. Many of us have been sold the story that in order for us to be able to eliminate our debts, we have to, pay them off. And although that is a strategy, by no means am I trying to influence you to not pay your debts. But there are some debts that should not be paid, and that before you go forward with paying them, you should understand the federal rules and laws and statutes that pertain to those debts. And one of those debts is the payments that you make for debt collectors. Many people will live in a personal prison. I talked about, living in a prison in another video because they are running from debt collectors and they are running from debts. So what I'm going to do is that I am going to illustrate to you the federal laws that will protect you, because many people don't know that these laws exist. So that is what I'm going to do with this video. I am going to illustrate to you the federal statutes and laws that is going to back up what I'm saying, because I don't want you all to think that I'm just kind of making this up and kind of just pulling it out the hat. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So what I want you to do, stay tuned, continue watching this video, and watch while I illustrate to you. Okay. Okay, everybody, so now I'm going to get to the second portion of this video. Now, in this portion, I am actually going to give you more of a tutorial of why I have did videos talking about what a debt collector can and cannot do to you. Many people a lot of times think that I may have made this information up, but what I'm going to show you is the actual federal laws that protect consumers, because many people, they do not know the power that they have, especially when it comes to rebuilding their credit and dealing with debt collectors. So if you see right in front of you, this is a law, which is, I've said in many videos and many audios that I've created, it's called the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Now, this act is an act that is part of, or should I say, the statute that is part of the FTC. The FTC stands for the Fair Trade Commission Act. Don't let the acronym confuse you. As you can see right now, it says the fdcpa is a consumer protection agency that provides legal protection to consumers to prevent harassment from debt collectors. So there you have it in black and white. As a consumer, there are federal laws that can protect you. As you can see, it says right here that this law protects you from debt collectors. Now, I go further into what the FTC how they enforce the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act. Now, the FTC says that debt collectors are supposed to follow these laws and statutes. What you as a consumer must understand, that debt collectors are prohibited from being abusive, from being unfair, from being deceptive, or doing anything that would minimize you as a person. A lot of consumers do not realize that they have more power than the debt collectors have. And what happens is that they deal with the harassment that debt collectors put on them. And I'm here to tell you that now I'm actually showing you, showing you the laws and statutes that govern a lot of what I've shared with you, like I said, in many videos and audios. Now, this is a very important part. In order for you to understand the FDCPA, Federal Debt Collection Practices Act, you must understand the roles of the individuals. Now, the creditor, that is the person who extended credit to you. That could have been a Visa, MasterCard, store card, gas card, any type of installment loans or what have you. The debt is the obligation that you have agreed to pay. So what happens is that a creditor extended credit to you. In return, you decided that you will pay them back. Now, once that agreement has been created and you start accumulating the amount of debt that you said that you wanted, it now becomes debt. Or should I say, when you start to accumulate the obligation, it becomes debt. And so that's why you need to understand the moving parts, because the reason why I want to focus on debt is because many consumers try to make it seem like it's a mystery. They don't understand how it happened, how it got created. It got created because someone extended an offer to you, which was some type of obligation. They said they came to you in many forms. It could have been through the mail. It could have been, through the internet, the TV, what have you. You could have been walking in a mall. You could have went to a store or what have you. But what you need to understand is that at the point that you accept that obligation, you have now created what is known as debt. Now, the debt collector, that is when the process that is when the debt that you've accumulated, you are unable to pay it. When you are unable to pay it, the creditor understands that he or she is not going to get their money. What consumers don't understand is that creditors, Visa, MasterCard, as I mentioned before, are not in the business of collecting on debts. That's why they have a time period. Anything from 120 to 180 days, they say bye-bye and they move on. And if they're unable to get that debt from you as the consumer, they sell it off. And that's when the relationship of a debt collector or should I say, that's when the relationship of a debt collector is formed. Because a debt collector is someone who either buys delinquent debts or they collect on delinquent debts. And what happens is that many of those agreements are made in the form of income. What do I mean? If it's a debt buyer buys debt. And what happens is that they buy it in packages. From there, they're now the debt collector, because now that they've purchased it, now they can structure the debt any way they want, and now come to you and say, we're looking for you to pay us back. But keep in mind, even though they've purchased that debt, they still have to follow the laws. And I'm going to go further into that. Why, even though that debt collector has purchased that debt, or they have some type of agreement where they receive income from collecting on debts, they still have to follow the law. And you need to understand that as a consumer. Now, once again, what type of debts are covered under the FDCPA? Keep in mind, all personal debts, personal, family, household debts. It can be a credit card, or auto loan, medical bill. I apologize. Mortgage needs to be taken out of there. I don't know why I still have that there. I got to take that out. The FDC does not cover business debts. So keep in mind, the only time the FDCPA may cover business debts if in the event that you signed a personal guarantee. What a lot of people don't know is that many business owners, when they begin to build their business credit, a lot of times in order for them to build it, what they will do is they will do a personal guarantee. And if that is the case, that means that you have signed as your personal self to be able to establish the credit for your business. And if that's the case and you default on it, now it can be part of your personal debts. Now, this is a very important part to know. The most important statutes of FDCPA is Statute 805, 806, and 809. And I'm going to briefly go into those three debts. Now, I've pretty much already discussed 806. I've told you that is illegal for a debt collector to harass you, to abuse you, to say anything deceptive, anything that would be an insult to your character or who you are or to your family to collect on a debt. Now, Statute 805 is pretty much, as you can see, it has to do with the communication that the debt collector has to have with you. Understand, a debt collector cannot call you between the hours of 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Please keep in mind, debt collectors cannot call your place of employment. You don't know how many individuals that I have met, that I have consulted with, who have told me that debt collectors have called their home. Keep in mind, it's all illegal. Also, if you currently decide to be represented by an attorney, an attorney, the debt collector must now decide to forward all correspondences to that attorney. And be sure that you do let the debt collector know that. If you decide to get a consumer rights attorney to help you in terms of, any type of situation that you have a debt collector, keep in mind, all those calls must now go to the attorney. Let the attorney handle it. And now also, the last part is that debt collectors may not discuss a debt with a third party. What does this mean? Many times I have had clients who have came to me and said, there's a debt collector that is trying to collect on this debt, and they called my neighbor's house, or they called a family member's mine house. Keep in mind, it is illegal for them to do that. And keep in mind that if you find out that a debt collector is doing that, you must send them some type of notice letting them know that they're doing that. And it's actually called the cease and desist letter. You can find more about it. I think I have a copy of it on my website if you go to www.jumpstartyourcreditbook.com. 806, not going to really go into this. Pretty much talked about it. They shouldn't harass you, threaten you, or even abuse you. No obscene or profane language, and no repeating of telephone calls. What does that mean? They cannot call you over and 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 over. And keep in mind, there's a part in here that I'm going to start including, but it's not on there. Your cell phone. Understand that it is illegal for debt collectors to call your cell phone, but there is a very small caveat in there. If they call you personally, what does that mean? Meaning a human actually, when you pick up the phone, when you pick up the phone and they say, "Hello, may I speak to?" As long as it's a human, legally they can do it. But what I'm finding is that many debt collectors now are not really there. What they're using is robo services. So what happens is they have pretty much is a computer generated service that calls the people, and then a human gets on the phone. So if that has happened to you, many times the way it happens is that when you pick up your phone and it says, hold on, it'll say, please wait and hold on until a person gets on the line. Or they'll ask you, is this Brown-Phillips? And hit 1 if it isn't, hit 2. All those are robotic type calls, and it's actually illegal. They cannot do that to your cell phone. Now, this is a very important part. This has to do with validation of the debts. I probably will do a separate video just for this, but understand this is the most powerful part of the FDCPA. The way the validation of debts work, and like I said, I'm going to briefly go over this. I want to do a separate video just on this, is that you are pretty much telling the debt collector that you want some type of written notice from them showing that they have the legal authority to be able to collect on the debt. That is really the easiest way that I can put this. Once again, let me explain it to you again. What you are asking from the debt collector is to provide you with a written notice where they have the legal authority to collect on that debt. Keyword, legal authority. Legal authority means that they must show you some type of assignment that they have the ability to collect on that debt. This is very important. That is why I've titled many videos is that it's illegal for a debt collector to harass or collect on a debt, because Statute 809 says, as you can see, that if a debt collector does not validate a debt to you as the consumer, they pretty much don't have the authority to collect on it. Now, if you know, this is should I say, this is a revised version of this law. If you want to actually read the law yourself, you can go to the FDCPA site and read the whole statute of the FDCPA and go to section 809. And from there, you can come up with your own reasoning about it. But pretty much, this is, this is it rewording for you to understand it in plain English. So what I'm going to do is I am going to exit out of here. And like I said, this is pretty much the second part of this video, and I look forward to talking to you in the next video. And once again, if you want to learn more about me, want to learn more about how I am helping consumers rebuild their credit, get rid of debt, and deal with debt collectors, please look under this video and you will find more information, or you can go to www.jumpstartyourcreditbook.com to learn more. Bye-bye.